What if you are not the child of generational pain, but the child of destiny? Who were you before estrangement? What you inherit, who you become. By Lisa Morris. Inspired by the path of emergence. Hello, important one. When my daughters were 3 and 6, I stumbled upon the New Age idea of indigo kids and crystal children, souls said to have come to Earth to raise human consciousness and heal a world in trouble. Whether or not you believe in those labels, they offered language for what I was witnessing. Two extraordinary children, both deeply sensitive, yet incredibly different in their way of being. The fire traits of the indigo. My oldest came into the world like a spark refusing to be contained, strong willed, independent, unwilling to accept because I said so. At 5 years old, she looked up at me, her bright red pigtails bouncing, and asked, "Why do you always get to make the decisions?" She saw through anything that lacked integrity, even as a child. Her fire unsettled teachers, prompted doctors to suggest medication, and challenged systems that tried to tame her. In my estrangement, she was the one who carried the loud message of the pain I had caused, the powerful voice for what her little sister could not say. She drew the line in the sand that finalized our separation and handed me the list of every wound I had created, along with the truth I needed to face. It was brutal, it took me down. It broke every illusion I held about motherhood and her place in it. For a long time, I chose only to feel the pain, the betrayal, the disbelief that my own child, the one I had poured everything into, could stand so firmly against me. But as I journeyed inward, tending to the fractures of my own soul, I began to see what lived beneath her fire: love. Fierce, uncompromising, and unflinching, her love refused to let either of us remain trapped in illusions. It whispered of what needed to be seen, of what needed to be healed. And in answering that call, I stepped onto a path that would transform not just my understanding of her, but of myself and of the deeper work of the soul. She was harsh, ruthless at times, oh yes, but also the one who said, "Enough is enough," when it seemed unjust that I was being left out of graduations and monumental family events. Even in her defiance, she was defending truth as she saw it. And in a way, she was doing exactly what she came here to do: break old patterns and expose what needed light. Her sister entered the world carrying a quiet light, a pulse of empathy that seemed to hum with the wisdom of ages. Calm, gentle, deeply feeling, she loved nature, art, and the language of energy. A biofeedback scan revealed a calmness and depth in her energy, rare for her age, a quiet wisdom beyond words. She wouldn't let me kill a spider. Every creature deserved release. Her world was fairy gardens and deep connections, a living field of love and compassion. She was a crystal, the heart healer. Where her sister's fire cleared space, her light filled it with peace. And yet, one day, everything shattered. A simple conversation went horribly wrong. I was out of alignment. She was hurting. I didn't see it. She cried, I reacted, and then she hung up, trembling. "Please just leave me alone." It was like watching an eclipse. The light of my life disappeared. The silence that followed was soul crushing. I replayed it 1,000 times, trying to understand how I could hurt her so deeply. Only later did I realize it wasn't about blame. It was about frequency. I had fallen out of tune with the peace she was here to embody. The generational fire. Looking through the eyes of wisdom instead of pain, I see now what was unfolding. The next generation answering a call, souls stepping into their human purpose. Indigos, the millennials, carried the restless energy of change into the world, refusing systems that no longer served, questioning every rule, reinventing life on their own terms. They burned bright, converting pain into invention, defiance into independence. But when that fire turns inward, it can mistake rebellion for freedom. It tears down without knowing what to build. The false power of righteous anger severs connection, leaving them misunderstood and alone amid the ashes of their own revolution. This shows up on the path of emergence in level 1 as refusing, 2 is rebellion, 3, rebuilding, level 4 is remembering. Freedom without awareness is only half a journey. Fire can burn as fiercely as it illuminates. The phoenix does not rise because it destroyed. It rises because it faced its own fire without losing its soul. And the crystals, as Gen Z, the empaths, the harmonizers, now carry the weight of that same fire, and they are in trouble. They feel everything. In a world saturated with noise, technology, and disconnection, their empathy can become a heavy burden. Sensitive to chaos, often they turn outward for guidance or reassurance, seeking connection and understanding while forgetting to trust the wisdom already within themselves. They long for peace, but often forget that peace begins within, not in the validation of others, but in the stillness of their own hearts. Their sensitivity is their superpower. Without grounding and self trust, it can feel like a cage. With it, it becomes a source of healing and light. On the path of emergence, it looks like level 1, flight, level 2, fight, level 3, freedom, level 4 is fulfillment. And their fawn response is the trap between flight and fight. Within each of us move two eternal forces, fire and light. Fire cuts through illusion, light restores wholeness. Both are necessary. Each generation is a verse in the same sacred song. Boomers build the outer world, Gen X bridges the seen and the unseen, Millennials awaken the inner world, Gen Z remembers the light that binds them all. Generation Alpha carries the weight of the future, merging technology and consciousness, bringing spirit into science and wisdom into progress. Boomers, the keepers of foundation, born 1946 to 1964, born from the ashes of war. The boomers carry the imprint of survival and the frequency of inherited trauma, yet possess the bravery to build amid the rubble of discord and division. They were tasked with restoring order to a world that had forgotten peace. With steadfast hands, they created structure where there was none. Their devotion built the outer world, homes, industries, systems, but many have grown weary from holding everything together behind their fragile veil of stoicism. Beneath their resilience lives a quiet ache, a longing to be understood, not for what they did, but for who they are. They carry the ancestral memory of conflict and the unspoken pain of endurance through challenging times. Yet it is this very imprint that links them to their grandchildren's heightened sensitivity and invisible struggles. Though words may fail them, their souls remember. They understand pain and survival in its deepest, most human form. Dear Boomer, you did beautifully. Life demanded strength from you, and you answered with courage and devotion. But now, your sacred role is to soften, to let wisdom replace defense, and to know that survival or winning is no longer the goal. Love is. On the path of emergence, level 1 is survival, level 2, winning, level 3 is healing, and level 4 is wisdom. Gen X, the bridge between worlds, 1965 to 1980. Generation X was born in the in-between, between analog and digital, tradition and transformation. We grew up learning to adapt, translating one world into another. We became fluent in contradictions, fiercely independent, yet quietly yearning for connection. Skeptical, yet still searching for something real. We were the latchkey kids, the ones who knew the wild freedom of being unreachable. No cell phones, no constant surveillance, no one tracking our every move. We roamed neighborhoods, made questionable choices, and somehow survived on streetlights, intuition, and divine grace. We were free, untethered, unmonitored, fully alive in the mystery of our own becoming. We are the bridge between the material and the mystical, the seen and the unseen. Our task is to heal in both directions, forgiving our parents without carrying their burdens, releasing our children to their own paths, and rediscovering ourselves in the in between spaces. Dear Gen X, our purpose was never to fix what came before or shape what comes after. It is to embody the bridge itself, to live integration rather than opposition, to remind the world that wholeness is not found in choosing sides, but in becoming the thread that weaves them all together, and in remembering the joy of our carefree, unsupervised, unmonitored childhoods. We raise the collective consciousness through the high vibration of our soaring spirits, becoming living proof that freedom, curiosity, and a carefree heart are sacred tools of the soul. On the path of emergence, level 1 is waiting, level 2 is doing, level 3 is becoming, and level 4 is being. Millennials, the architects of awakening, 1981 to 1996. If boomers built and Gen X bridged, millennials questioned the foundation, not to destroy, but to test its strength and to ensure it could sustain a changing world. Born into both privilege and pressure, they inherited existing systems and exposed their cracks. They were the first to normalize therapy, spirituality, and vulnerability. Their task? To bring soul back into structure, to remember that worth is not earned, but inherent. As parents and guides, they carry a dual mission, raising a new generation while healing the wounds of the past. Dear Indigo, your presence is a teaching. Healing is not indulgence or division, it is evolution. You are called to stand tall in truth, to illuminate rather than divide, and to balance fire and light. Your children, peers, and community look to you to model integration, to carry the torch that lights the path forward while honoring the bridges of the generations that came before you. On the path of emergence, your trauma falls in level 1, your therapy in level 2, your transformation is level 3, and you will find the truth in level 4. Gen Z, the remembers of light, born 1997 to 2012. Gen Z carries frequencies the world has not yet learned to hold. Empaths and old souls, they are born remembering what others have spent their lifetimes rediscovering. They feel everything, the noise, the chaos, the distortion, and often seek belonging through screens instead of within. Yet beneath the overstimulation lives their original brilliance. Dear Crystal, your sacred work is to ground your sensitivity and purpose, to turn rebellion into remembrance, resistance into radiance. You hold the wisdom to see truth beneath pain, to recognize the wounded hearts of those who raised you, and to meet that awareness with compassion rather than blame. You would not have survived this world if your parents were perfect. The discord you were born into prepared you to bring light to a hurting world. Turn off the noise. Return to nature, to stillness, to your divine self. This is your true north. Do not chase distraction or approval. Everything you seek is already within you. And that Gen Z stare, that distant, glazed look of a soul who has seen too much too soon, that is not apathy, it is overload. It is the cost of feeling the collective ache while trying to remember your own light. Whisper what the world forgot to say, and speak it for every soul still learning to remember. I am enough. I am enough. Generation Alpha, the Light Architects, born 2013 to 2029. Generation Alpha carries the weight of the future, born into a world vibrating with both possibilities and infinite connection, and profound disconnection. The first fully immersed in AI. Their sacred task is to merge technology with consciousness, to bring spirit into science and wisdom into progress. They cannot do this alone. It will take a village to ensure they are not lost to an artificial world, guided by the pioneering spirit of millennial parents, bridged by Gen X, grounded by boomers, and illuminated by Gen Z. They need real humans, families, and communities to anchor their gifts in love, connection, and divine purpose. Grandparents hold a vital role. Their patience, presence, and wisdom help these children remember the sacred roots of human life amid machines and endless information. Dear light architects, your sole task is to integrate, innovate, and illuminate, always within the lineage of a divine love that sustains you. The future is not only yours to imagine, it is the inheritance of generations past and the hope of those yet to come, and the quiet work of your awakening consciousness. To remember your divinity amid the noise, and to keep love human in an increasing artificial world. On level 1, we experience vast disconnection. Level 2 is where science falls. Level 3 is where we reconnect. And level 4 is spirit, where oneness lives. The continuum of remembrance. If we do not come together, if we leave one another behind, if we fail to honor the sacred stewardship each generation carries, we create a world of fragmentation where connection is lost and the next chapters of humanity are written in discord. Generation Beta, the harmonizers, may inherit a divided earth, unable to embody oneness because the wisdom, love, and integration of those who came before were left unclaimed. This is our wake up call. We are one, united with a divine purpose, each of us on the journey of life, navigating the 5 stages of the human experience. The fire that frees us and the light that restores us must be reconciled within. Awakening is not something to search for, it is something we live. The flame that breaks illusions and the light that rebuilds wholeness are not opposites, they are phases of the same sacred return. Your generation carries its own celestial code, but your soul carries the choice. The moment you honor both lineage written in the stars and the free will written in your heart, you become the bridge between heaven and earth. You are not the child of generational pain. You are the child of destiny, born of light, shaped by fire, and called to remember. I'm with you on this journey, Lisa. If this resonated with you, you're welcome to join others on the path of emergence in our monthly community gatherings, a space to reflect, share, heal, and remember together. The fire that breaks you open and the light that heals you are one. Only when you face the flames of your own rebellion and honor the quiet wisdom within can you rise whole, guided by both truth and divine love, inspired by the path of emergence.